Hello, good morning. Welcome to the Matrix. Nobody can show you what the Matrix is. You will have to find out for yourself. So, to that end, I'm going to do this video, which I've been trying to do, and then shit happens and gets in the way, like a cup of tea. Had some shit going on that really took me into some of my core issues. All good, all good. I have emerged somewhat this morning, and I thought, right, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to do the Matrix Decoded video. But it's going to probably be very, very ramblo. Yes. Because, well, that's just the way it is. But yes, I want to repeat this again. It's very, very, very true that nobody can show you what the Matrix is. You literally have to find out for yourself. And it is not something that you find out like that. It's something that takes great courage, great intention, great tenacity, focus, will. In fact, it takes a soul traveller to really do it, you know? There's my neighbour staring at me with my great big bunny ears on. Hello! Thinking, what you doing? He doesn't know what the Matrix is. He's off it. See these NPCs, the way I see it, they're like the wallpaper of the Matrix. But anyway. So, having taken the red pill and all, let's commence. So, you know, the film starts off, remember, with Trinity, and that's an interesting name because that reminds me of the alchemical child, which is what we are as soul travellers. You see, it's the masculine, you know, the high priest or the magician, the magus. It's the high priestess, you know, the masculine, the feminine, the highest exaltation of this, the yin-yang, harmony, infinite, unconditional love and creativity. And the child that is brought forth is the alchemical child, which is the soul traveller, right? The ultimate consciousness, the Holy Grail, and Trinity is trying to establish a connection, and there's a great big truck hurtling at breakneck speed right towards her, which isn't that just like you know, what we go through? We're like there, and there's a great big fuck off truck driven by, I don't know, Jabba the Hutt, whatever, coming at breakneck speed towards us, and we've probably one way or another, consciously, unconsciously, and everything in between, felt that way our entire life. You know, the thing is that connection never went away, guys. And I think we are really beginning to feel that. So, the connection is made and vamonos. Then we are looking at Neo, who, you know, he's there, he hasn't got a fucking clue, but he knows something is off. He just knows this. He knows something is fucking wrong. He's known it his entire life. Like Morpheus later on says, like a splinter in the mind. You know, we've all got that splinter. It's always been there, and it's always been there saying, something is wrong. Something is wrong, you know? And it's interesting because he's a hacker, isn't he? Good on him. And he picks up this box when these people come around. You know, there's a knock on the door, and he picks up this box, and there's a book in it that he hides all these little bits in, you know. And guess what it says on the book? It says simulation and simulacra. And of course, the people that are there on their way to this fucking ridiculously horrible club they're typical NPCs, you know, because the guy goes to him, he goes, "Oh, Neo, you're even more pale than usual." And Neo goes, "Yeah, have you ever have that feeling, like, you know?" And he goes, "Yeah, man, it's called masculine, whatever, you know." And it's like, wow, typical NPC, total just fake ego construct, fake persona, you know. "Oh yeah, I'm so cool because I take loads of psychedelics," and it's like, "And I'm now off to the torture garden, whatever club." The typical NPCs, that they are simulacra. And it's interesting because more now than ever before am I completely convinced that this is some sort of simulation. Really it is. It's virtual. Our virtual is their reality. I've said it many times. I know it to be true. I know it beyond any doubt, really. You know, it's the clunkiness of it all, the repetitiveness of it all, the Truman Show-esque nature of it all. There's absolutely no doubt about it, you know. And yet I feel strongly that we are the progenitors of all we behold. We are not victims. Yeah, guys, I did say it was going to be quite rambly. It's very early as well, and I'm very tired. I haven't had a lot of sleep at all. But, so, anyway, you know, something shows up. I mean, it goes into, it's follow the white rabbit, isn't it? Follow the white rabbit, follow the white rabbit. And the girl turns around and she has that little tattoo. So off he goes, he follows the white rabbit, just like we've done, over and over and over and over again, right? I did a video about maybe over a year ago, 2 years ago, I think. It's called The Rabbit Hole Has No Stairs. For any of you newbies, watch it, it's funny. But it's true. You go down the rabbit hole, you follow it on a hunch. You know, it's something inside of you, that splinter, you know, in a mind goes, go, follow the white rabbit. Now, the white rabbit comes along in all kinds of weird shapes and forms. It could be a YouTube video, it could be a book, it could be just a feeling to go somewhere, to do something, to talk to this person. It's always a very strange thing, because you see, the Great Mother works in mysterious ways. The Great Mother is kind of the white rabbit, you see. The Great Mother is always showing us the way. She always has done, even when we were not even aware of it. I remember many years back when I was a complete mess, literally. Living in London, I was like a walking chemistry set. And even then, the synchronicity was always with me, and I was always being guided everywhere. It simply has always been with me. This entire realm is a metaphorical realm, and it speaks to us in a language. It's imagery, it's synchronicity. You know, like in that film, that movie, Lady in the Water, there's a little boy in it that can see all the symbols on the side of the cornflake boxes and all of that. Well, that is what soul travelers do. We know the language of the Great Mother inherently, you see. So anyway, he goes there, he meets Trinity there, and I can't remember now actually, guys, but in the next scene, you know, he's at work, isn't he? So it's your typical office environment. I've worked in places like that, cubicles. They do this on purpose, you know. It's to drive home how utterly worthless and meaningless you are, and you're there in your little cubicle, you know, and you hear the voices of the hive all around you, you know. Anyway, he's there, and the agents arrive, and I think at this point he's already familiar with Morpheus and with Trinity, and Morpheus is sent him a mobile phone, hasn't he? One of these old flip phones, which I have one of those. Wow. Now Morpheus is the true self. Morpheus is a metaphor, really. The character of Morpheus is kind of like a metaphor at that point for our intuition, for our true self, saying you do not belong in this cubicle, in this meaningless, malevolent existence. Get out of it. But of course, the agents, Agent Smith, arrives. So he's hungering and he's like, what do I do? What do I do? And of course the true self, our intuition, the great mother, Morpheus, is there. He's saying, right, do exactly as I say and all will be well. So he goes on a, go here, bend down, go there, and he follows all Morpheus's instructions. But he gets to the window, the threshold, as it were, between the old life and the new, and he falters. Fear. Who is this Morpheus? Can I really trust this Morpheus? Where am I going? What's happening? And of course, in that moment of doubt, the agents get hold of him. He's looking down, he's standing on the ledge, I think, and he's looking down, and it's like, because that is, ultimately, that is the metaphor for taking that leap of faith, You go through the window, you leave the past behind, you enter into the unknown, and you take a leap of faith, the first of many. But the fear at that point in Neo is so concrete and so overwhelming that he falters, and the agents, next thing you know, they gaslight the fuck out of him. They take his mouth away, very symbolic, in so many different ways. And they put an etheric implant into him, which is exactly what they do here. And I'm going to do a video on etheric implants. This is the common parlance for these things in the New Age community. I don't particularly like it. So I'm going to be thinking, hopefully, of different terminology for it. But it's something that I've been dealing with for years. And I know it to be a genuine and real phenomenon. Well, for me it is anyway, because I have visions. I had a massive, heavy, metallic, helmet-like thing that was all around my head and into my jaw, like it was big. Hence I've been working through that, I think, for the last 2 weeks. It's been very painful, very difficult, but getting some of it out. Anyway, they put that great big thing into, well, it's actually not that great big, that comes later, sorry guys, a bit rambly, sorry. But I put it in him, it's a tracker device, and no doubt it's a mind control device, it's a fear device, it's a mundane reality reinforcement device. Get back down on your knees, you worthless slave. Go back to your cubicle, forget everything. Sleep, sleep. You're worthless and powerless and defenseless. All of that. You are but a battery, Neo. He wakes up in his bed, and it's like, what the fuck? And then there is, it's night, it's always night in a Matrix. If you notice, it's very, very dark. I think there's a reason for that, because, again, for me, and I'm not saying anything that I'm talking about here, by the way, isn't necessarily at all what the makers of that movie meant. It's merely what it means to me, that's all, right? The reason it's all dark and slick with rain and whatnot, and very kind of industrial looking, it's very little nature, if anything, is because that is what the Matrix is. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there is an almost virulent, vehement hatred towards anything that's good and pure and true. Trees, animals, soul, people, flowers, you name it, they don't like it. It's very Blade Runner-esque, increasingly, as the AI agenda seemingly advances itself. So it is a very dark journey for all of us, all soul travellers. It's anathema to a soul traveller. We are natural consciousness, you see. We are the Holy Grail. Anyway, so they're there in a car, and yet again he has to take a leap of faith, because you can either get in a car with us, Neo, right, or you can keep walking down the road and do whatever it is you do in mundane reality. And you can tell he's frightened and he's worried and he's like, oh God, I hesitate, I don't know, I'm confused, I don't know. Again, we feel that way all the fucking time, yet we continue to make the right choices, don't we? Even when we get it wrong, we end up getting it right somehow. This is what I call the maverick effect. It's the magic of the Great Mother. Otherwise we wouldn't be where we are today, you see. Anyway, he gets in the car, doesn't he? And they're there, and they get that great big thing out, and it's like, right, lie down and shut up. And that metallic beastie, that metallic cockroach thing, whatever, comes out. And that's a massive shocker to him, because, and we've had aha, shock, horror types of, you know, moments in our own lives, where it's like, what you're telling me mundane reality isn't real. It's not real, is it? Yes, it is. Cognitive dissonance. No fucking hell. I mean, it literally feels like you're being shredded, isn't it? Because there's a reason why we're surrounded by mundane reality enforcement officers, right? It's like, well, see, I was sexually abused from when I was a baby, but I still made well, and I still made lots of money, and I still have a massive mansion, so you have absolutely no excuse. You should also be blah. And it's all such fucking nonsense, really, because soul travellers aren't here for that. We're not here to amass fortunes. We're not here you know, we're here to get through the eye of the needle, and you can't do that with any of that shit. We're here to get rid of all of that. We're here for the greatest prize of all, which is the Holy Grail, which is temperance, which is consciousness. And, you know, this is our quest here, to walk through the valley of the shadow of death, to have lost everything, and to slowly but surely regain it all, and to manifest the light reset. I was going to say the great reset. Klaus Schwab would be so happy. No, the light reset, which is going home, you know. But anyway, so this beastie comes out, and he's like, what the fuck, you know, and he's like, you know. And they say, right, now we're going to take you to meet, you know, to meet Morpheus. So they take him. And Morpheus is there sitting in that really nice old Chesterfield chair, looking all fucking glamorous, you know. And he goes on about the splinter in the minds again, and, you know, and he gets his little box out, doesn't he? His little box out. And he's got 2 pills. And he says, and see again, this is definitely a journey of leap of faith after leap of faith after leap of faith after leap of faith. Wow. How do we do it? Such courage. Anyway, Leo's like, blue, red, blue. You know, shall I take both? You know, and Morpheus says, well, you know, take the blue one if you like, and you go back to sleep, back to work. That's it. Think and believe whatever you like. No questions asked, no bother. Toodaloo. Or you take the red pill, you know, and Kansas will go bye-bye. So Neo, you know, was always going to take the red pill. He's already taken it, you see. There was never, ever another possibility at all whatsoever. That blue pill might as well not have existed. You see, that is destiny. A lot of people go on about the impossibility of there being free will and predestination and predeterminism and so forth and so on, but I don't believe that at all. See, none of this is real. This is virtual. We're not really here. We're probably lying in a pod somewhere, hooked up to the brain box. I did watch Bliss, by the way. I thought it was a fucking awful movie, appalling, but somewhat meaningful. I made it through about, I think, 45 minutes of it on an hour, and I switched it off as it couldn't be asked with it. But it did speak to me a bit, but it was so depressing. But anyway, I always liken it a bit to that. I don't think it's really like that, of course, because we are infinite beings. We wouldn't need to hook ourselves up to all kinds of fucking leads and lie in pods at all. But we have projected a part of our consciousness, as it were, and have created this in order to have an experience which has a shitload of merit. When you're still stuck in the whole, I'm a victim and they're doing it to me, then no. You can't see that, but I have learned to see that it has a shitload of merit. In fact, it is pure gold. But he takes the blue pill, no sorry, the red pill, you know, and all that really weird shit starts happening. He looks in the mirror, oh, and he becomes all metallic, and he's like, oh, it's cold, and it's like mercury, as in the mind is dissolving. The mind is dissolving. The left brain, mundane reality, this is all set in stone, is dissolving. It's liquidizing. It's disappearing, falling apart. Motherfucker, I'm terrified. Of course, next thing you know, and this is the awakening journey, you have to face some incredibly hard, dark, painful truths. It's part of the journey. Because what got our consciousness, or a part thereof, into this experience is the Black Hand, is the hell contagion, the dark generator, right? You cannot enter hell with the consciousness of heaven. Similarly, you cannot enter heaven with the consciousness of hell. That which we took on or into ourselves, the yin-yang click out of alignment so that we could have this experience, needs to be realigned. The inversion needs to be addressed. That is why we have to face that darkness in order to come out. It is how it must be. Well, Neo is facing that when he wakes up in the pod. I mean, columns after column after column after column of pods. It's a terrible shock. It's a terrible, terrible shock, you know. He's on the Nebuchadnezzar. He can't walk. His body can barely deal with solid food. He's fucking cold. He's walking around in clothes that are, well, you know, full of holes. It's shit. It's like, fuck me, I wish I'd taken the blue pill. Well, I know I'd think that way at that point, and in fact have many times have thought, maybe I should have, but then immediately, nah, Nika, what the fuck. You would always take the red pill because it was your destiny. Many times this has played out, and many times you have taken the red pill. But you know, he goes into the machine with the needles, literally to reactivate his muscles and his tendons. And again, that is also a metaphor, because when you're not awake and you are operating in mundane reality, the Matrix, you're not using your muscles, you're not using your power. You don't realize you actually have any power. You believe yourself subconsciously, in unawareness, to be powerless and worthless. So life is something that happens to you. You are a powerless victim running the gauntlet. Life happens to you. You get a dopamine click when you successfully navigate the trauma-based, gaslighty hellscape, right? Oh, you know, you've gone through that successfully. Oh, it doesn't kill you, makes you stronger. Click, dopamine, whatever, that's all you know. you have atrophied in every imaginable way. You really truly have. You are being a battery, an atrophied, weak. Actually, you are kind of the embodiment of powerlessness and worthlessness, because you are living it every day. It has become your truth. But then, click, you wake up, right? Your true self comes banging on the door. You know? It's like that knock you get when it's the coppers and you're growing a shitload of weed. You know? Only it's the Great Mother, you know. Anyway, so you awaken. My awakening happened just like that. Boom! It was strange, it was weird, and it was completely beyond the mundane. Right? And for some it happens slowly. It happens in different ways for different soul travelers, you know. But yeah, we too go into that machine with all these needles, and you know, we have to learn to use our power. For the longest time we don't really believe we have any power. We use our power though. We don't realize we are using it. We used it to awaken in the first place. We use it to go within, layer after layer after layer, to keep on going, we create, we manifest and use our power all the time, but in such a way that at first we don't even realize we're doing it. We don't realize that, you know. Anyway, he comes out of that, he's able to walk around, he has to eat that horrible nasty looking sludge that goes for food around there. You know, he is taken by Morpheus into like the Matrix, you know, and works out that wow, it's all virtual, and you know, we can upload this program and we can upload that program and we can upload that program, and in the blink of an eye you know what to do, and you're like this great kung fu master. Bring it on. Basically showing us, and I really believe this to be true, that this is all, it's all programming. I'm not saying we are living in a computer, as some people that believe that. I just think that's very short-sighted and unimaginative. Of course, far, far bigger than that. But, you know, it sort of is. It is virtual, and it is all programming. No doubt about it. That is what mundane reality is. It's a set of programs. So this is how it works. And it's very clunky and it's very, very stupid. But, of course, you know, Morpheus starts talking about the one, you are the one. The reason that I took you out of your pod was because I believe you are the one. You know, now at this point Neo's there thinking, what the fuck would he, what? You know, and there is there's that NPC guy, what's his name again? Is it Cypher or something? I can't remember. Who's really, really jealous, your typical NPC, because he basically doesn't have any consciousness in an NPC, and he just, you know, he just can't stand the fact that, you know, that Neo is obviously special, you know. And he takes Neo, Morpheus takes Neo to see the Oracle. And that's when things begin to get sort of interesting, as far as I'm concerned. Because, have you noticed how in life, guys, we often are guided synchronistically to places, to people, to information that at the time is profound and right, even though it's also wrong. False lights, paradigms exist everywhere, yet for a time they serve us. The wrong sort of people were at some point the right sort of people, you know. The Oracle tells Neo exactly what he needs to hear. Truth in that sort of scenario is a relative term, right? It's very relative. He wouldn't be able to handle the whole truth and okay, you are the one and you're going to do this and you're supposed to do this and you're supposed to go there and then you will do that and then this is what the end result will be. No, of course not. When you were in the earlier stages of awakening, do you honestly think you would have been able to handle the kind of stuff you're going through now? No, you wouldn't. So do you see how guided you have always been? How the hand of the Great Mother, your true self, has always been with you, has guided your whole fucking life. How you've never been alone, how you've never been forsaken, how you've never been abandoned at all. Yeah, you have felt that way. I know that sense of horrific, black, existential loneliness, abandonment, I am not safe feeling. I've been feeling it a lot the last couple of weeks. A lot. Horrifying, unspeakable. That is what you feel when you're an infinite creator being that has, in part only, part of its consciousness, reduced itself to something, a being that is able to experience this, right? I've been severed from the source. I am all alone. I was severed because I'm not worthy. I've done something wrong. You see all of that, and oh, that hurts. That is core stuff. Core stuff. A lot of us are in that now. It's very, very painful. Yeah. You know, she tells him. You would think, well, that was kind of pointless, wasn't it? Or so now he has a cookie and what? That's it, is it? Bloody hell. You know. And it's obvious that she lives in a project as well. And it's like, fucking, you know. Because, of course, that I find very meaningful as well. Because, you know, yes, she lives in a project. She doesn't live in some big shiny mansion with 6 Lamborghinis in the driveway and a swimming pool. You know? No. She lives in a project. It shows you that only that which is pure gold and of true value, that's it. You see, we are not here for anything else. We are here because we chose to have this experience. We have lived lifetimes where we've accumulated wealth, power even, whatnot. Okay? This life, however, is all about shedding all meaninglessness, all fear-based acquisitions, beliefs, programming, bullshit. No. We are here to go through the eye of the needle, you see. Anyway. The oracle. And of course there is no spoon, you know, the kid. There is no spoon. See, that was very meaningful because he is being shown. This is all part of being the one. Because, well, you know, he has his cookie and, you know, yeah. And Morpheus says to him later on, because he's, you know, Neo, having had some more whatever experiences, gets to believe in that maybe I am the one. Oh, it's possible, I suppose. Why not, right? But, you know, it's all trial and error. He gets it wrong a lot. He falls, remember, when he falls from a great height into the asphalt road, but he sinks into it a bit. But it's like, ouch. We get it wrong all the time as well. Goodness me. I still get it wrong all the time, every day. But I'm now more and more okay with it. Because the ultimate act of self-love is to love and receive yourself in all your woundedness and wonkiness, because you've been here. And to go back home, self-love is the only fucking way. It is the key. There is no other way. This does not happen to us. We happen to it. We created all of this, and now self-love will take us back home, and that is the way it is. I know this beyond the shadow of a doubt. Anyway, so he's beginning to digest, to crystallize that notion that, yes, my intuition, he's beginning to trust himself. He's beginning to know that he may well be the one. He's not 100% sure yet. You know? there is no spoon. And he goes, so Morpheus, so if I am the one, does it mean that I'll be able to stop bullets? And Morpheus goes, no, Neo. It means you won't have to. See, now that is very, very meaningful, because there is no spoon. There are no bullets. Why the fuck would you need to stop bullets? They don't fucking exist, do they? None of this here, including our bodies, by the way, none of that actually exists in a way that we think it does at all. No. Not at all. It's all electromagnetic currents. It's a great big sea of consciousness which creates. We never stopped being infinite creator beings, people. We have created all that we behold. Oh. You know? Right. Anyway, so what happens? I mean, he has all these altercations with Agent Smith. Mr. Anderson. Oh, he's a right twat-faced arsehole, isn't he? And, well, Mr. Smith is very, very, very pissed off because he's not really alive, he doesn't have any creativity, he doesn't have any enjoyment or pleasure or anything as a result. He has no empathy, he has no compassion of any kind, so he's like your typical psychopath. It's like, well, absolutely nothing. I don't feel anything. I don't feel any enjoyment. So I guess I'll go out and do a bit of serial killing because, well, you've got to do something with your time. You know, a bit like that. And it's because he faces his arch enemy, because he faces betrayal by that guy, you know, who's desperate to get back into the Matrix. Please, please, I'll do anything. You know, please jab me, whatever. He loses people that he cares about. All of that. He has to experience all these still very mundane reality type things. And yet every single experience that he goes through, including, you know, falling in love with Trinity, falling in love with harmony, falling in love with being the one, and the fact that this is a quest, it is meaningful, I am walking my path. Love is the only way that this can be achieved, yeah? Every step brings him closer to that, including all his altercations with Agent Smith. Right, there's a great deal of fighting going on, nifty fighting scenes and people in nifty shades and outfits and all of that. And well, let me think. God, my memory is just so shitty, you know. I mean, I've been through so much the last couple of weeks. I'm so tired, but meow, 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 meow. Ha. It's when he says to him, power does not lie in the mind, but in the heart. Feel it and believe it. It's when he's in the dojo, you know, with Morpheus. And Morpheus, and he's, you know, doing all that, and it's like, whoa. And Morpheus is saying, well, do you think, you know, that this is real and that you're failing because you're just not very good at it? And of course, no, that isn't it, because this is not real, it's virtual, it's not real. It's when we, and again, that's very much part of becoming the one. You learn to trust yourself, and as you learn to trust yourself and you're going through the layers to the core of your being, you learn that, yes, I do have power. Now, I do not have to choose fear. I can be in this really shitty, frightening situation and yet tune in to love. and believe that I have the power to manifest here, to bring forth a different outcome, a higher frequency type of situation, something. This is, you know, we cannot put it into words. There's no language for this, but you know what I mean. You know, because like Neo in the dojo, this isn't real. It's not real, and it's just a program. And the mind, the left brain, that's all the programming. No, you can't. No, you shouldn't. No, you won't. Blah, blah, blah. You know? In the fake realm, in the Matrix, it's mind. This is all mind. This is all left brain, mundane reality. But in our hearts lives the magic, you see? So, you know, I'm gonna get to the end of this video now because I've got something to do. But suffice to say, Neo works out that he may very well be the one. Yes. And toward the end, the grand finale comes up. This is interesting. Those two words, grand finale, popped into my head a little while back. And then Kevin 9 as well as Aaron Soul Mission did videos and both mentioned grand finale. I find this highly interesting. Neo goes through a door, and guess what the number is on the door? That's right, number 33. Now, he's faced the agents quite a few times. Yes, he has. He has. But this time it's different. Something in him shifts. A crucial shift in consciousness. You know? It's a shift from fear, I think, to love, to I can, for I am. It's mastery. That is what number 33 is all about, you see. Pure I am, self-activation, the activation of the I am, and therefore I can. And everything is possible. Infinity, yeah, that's it. And all those bullets are just gone. It's gone. That's it. And I think that's sort of the end. Oh, he dies, doesn't he? Yes, that's it. He dies. That's it. And the Agent Smith and his cohorts are all there going, see? Ha, ha, ha. And it's interesting because death comes up a lot. It is very meaningful. That which has to die is what I've called it before, the psychopath frequency or the spectre. It's something that we created to glue us into this realm, into this experience. We had to, it's the hell contagion in a way. We had to, in order for us to remain tethered here, to have this experience, we cannot, like a balloon, rise back up to heaven consciousness, because you know, that's what we're doing now, and you see what the result is. It's unbearable. So this spectre-like energetic programming type, psychic attack type, demonic black hand, dark generator type of stuff, it's impossible for me to put this into words, guys. I do apologize, but it is what it is. That has to die now. It has to be nullified. It has been dying. It has been nullifying for quite some time now. It is why we go through these types of experiences. They're varied, these experiences. It could be anything. It could be health problems, could be financial problems, could be relationship problems, could be all kinds that trigger exactly that. Oily, malevolent darkness. It is part of how you have existed in the Matrix. Reactive, fear-based, war-based, conflict-based, from fear, hate, rage, self-hate, self-rage, self-attack, self-sabotage, all of these aspects and nuances of a certain state of consciousness has to be nullified. And to that end, death, yes. But you see, of course, and I do believe Neo does die, as we indeed are dying, but he is risen, just like Christ was risen, Christ consciousness, if you want to call it that. But not as in the Bible, but rather as in the Gnostic Gospels, which I'm not overly familiar with, but to an extent. One doesn't have to be, you know, for me it's all intuition, and whatever I need always comes to me directly. 33 is merely a metaphor, a symbol rather, for the true consciousness, the Holy Grail, which knows it is infinite, unconditional love and creativity. Therefore, there is no such thing as impossible. There is no mundane reality. We merely chose to experience that for a while. Duality, often people call it duality. It's actually far more complicated and complex than that. It's just, if you're not very awake and you're not very aware, you may well call it, oh, it's duality. Whatever, that's fine, but it's more than that. We have done this. Now, this is our exit life, our exit strategy. And to that end, we're dying. But you see, it really isn't about that. It's about rebirth, and it's about becoming the masters that nullify mundane reality. There are no bullets and there is no spoon. But of course there are another 2 movies, and he eventually goes on to find out that the Oracle is herself a program. You know, there is a shitload of fear and mistrust. But you're the enemy. You're one of them. I can't trust you. You know, and that is a leap of faith again, because we live in a matrix, but not all in the matrix is evil and malevolent and out to get us. Quite a lot of it is intrinsically helpful and is utilized. Even that which is evil is utilized. Everything is utilized. It's the Maverick effect, you know. And the Oracle says to him, you cannot see past choices that you do not understand. It's very interesting as well. Everything here, everything we are going through, in a sense, has already happened. It's already happened. It had already been, as it were. But because the left brain cannot understand infinity, we are still flying, as it were, by the seat of our pants and living out a day after a day. We still experience mundane reality, but beginning to see the magic, experience the magic more and more. We are gaining ground with regards to our power and how to use it, I feel. But it's still feeling quite scary. It's still feeling, yeah, I know. And of course, I spoke about this, the nihilistic element of it all, because of course, even when Neo finds out he's the one, the earth has still been scorched. There are no animals left, no plants, nothing. So you got to wonder, what's he really fighting for? I'd rather be dead and not exist at all, if that were to be the case. And this is why I will never, ever, ever trust Hollywood or the external in any way or shape or form to tell me the truth about anything. It's why everything that happens to me and everything I hear and everything I see goes through the filter of my true self and is sifted in such a way and alchemized in such a way that it gives me my gnosis, you see, which is view and which is vision, and that is what it's all about. Because we are soul travelers, we are infinite unconditional love and creativity people, and no matter how we might envision what is happening now, what is going to be happening, I think it behoves us to remember that we do not have to try so very, very, very hard at all. There is no spoon and there are no bullets. Self-love is a bit like the Matrix. Nobody can tell you what it is. It has to be experienced, chosen, cultivated. From this experience, it's something that you gain more and more and more of, or rather you gain it back more and more and more through alchemizing this experience. It's our destiny. It is the ultimate key. It will bring us home. It will show us that everything can come from seemingly nothing. For we are soul travelers, infinite unconditional love and creativity, and homeward bound. All my love to all of you.